I complain about my lagginess when I'm streaming. Anyway, the I have this big yellow notice here that I started thinking about this morning. I was worried about it, and I made the big yellow bold, shouty notice on my website that you probably never see until now. And then as I was going over this, maybe it's not as big a deal, but the notice is make sure you complete the notes and watch the videos. I think you'll end up with significant gaps if you try to cut corners. I was just thinking that if I were you and I were back in high school, I might just jump right to the practices and try to do those without watching the video, without doing the notes. But speaking of that, just in case you're gold and you haven't done anything all week, or you're blue and you probably haven't done any of the stuff, in Google Classroom, let me just go through the 3 assignments. They're just 3 real assignments for the week, aside from working on your instruments in class. And this is kind of unusual because I've organized them. The first one's on top, second one's below that, and then the third one, and normally the new stuff shows up on top. So this first practice, looks like 5 people have turned it in. This is from the Block 3 class. So I don't know how many of you have turned it in. But looking at this, there's a video that's 15 minutes long. So that's me teaching this stuff and going through the notes that are in your packet. And then there's, let's see what this says. I think the first link is to the filled in version of the notes. So if you don't like me talking and you feel like you can understand it from this, you could just print this out or look at this. This is, I think, what I'm completing in the video. And also in this has solutions to the practice. If you keep going, you're supposed to do, I don't think it's 20.1. Yeah, I guess it is 20.1. But so those are the solutions to the practice down there. And this other link must be the link to the packet, just in case I forgot to give it to you or you forgot to get it. There are no page numbers up here, but if you look up at the top, it tells you what page you're on. And they're the same page numbers that I wrote on it. This is a little nicer than if I had scanned it, so maybe it's better that I forgot to scan it. So that's the first assignment. And then the second assignment is, let's see, current and circuits. The first one was, I guess this is still current and circuits. I think there's more information there if you click on that. You go to edit, and then I can see the full title. Current. The first one I think was potential, which is a little bit different than potential energy. So the notes, 15-minute video. I've also got these videos that I've been putting in here that go over the solutions. So if you do the notes, try the practice on your own, look at the answers, don't quite understand what how I got that, then watch the video of me explaining it. And the idea is it'll be sort of like what we normally do, except I won't be there. I just set all this stuff up. The last one, the notes are only 8 minutes long. So this is pretty doable. All this has to just be done by Sunday. Now, going back to here, this isn't really very helpful, except that I want to talk about the whole week and then next week, and then we'll wrap things up kind of quickly. So, gold people, on Monday and Tuesday, this is what I meant to do with the blue people. These were the steps we tried to get through with the instruments. Didn't quite happen. There are some people who got as far as maybe this. They're marking the positions of their frets with pencil. Nobody, I think, made the notches. Nobody put the fret strings on. The strings are actually the frets. So we didn't get quite as far as I'd wanted to. I don't think we're going to be able to finish with just one day next week. So I think next week we're going to do the same thing as this week. Monday and Tuesday, the blue people will work on instruments. I think we'll have them finished by Tuesday. Anybody who's behind can always come into AST or my advisory and we can fix up your instrument there. Most of you don't seem to have too much going on in advisory, especially since APs are done, so that'd be a good time to finish things. So everybody who's not remote should be done by the end of next week with your instrument. So blue people, Monday and Tuesday, we're working on this. Hopefully gold people, you started doing your assignments. Here we are, this is today. The next couple of days, it basically just says blue group does whatever gold group was doing, gold group is doing whatever blue group was doing. I'm going to have to update next week because I had thought that on Monday we would go back and we'd have a normal class and I'd teach you about resistivity and resistance. But because of the instruments taking a little longer, we're going to work on those on Monday and on Tuesday. Tuesday said instrument construction. Remote people. So Riam, who else is remote here? Is anybody else remote with us today? So I guess just, oh, sorry, Iris. Yeah, duh. So Riam and Iris, I'll try to have all of your instrument stuff ready on Monday, and I'll try to put all the materials in the office. I do want you to construct stuff. I'll talk to you about what you might need, because you may have some glue at home you could use and some tape at home and things like that. But if you don't, I can prepare some glue and tape and things like that, because we'll be done mostly in the classroom. I don't think I've told everybody about this, especially not the remote people, but there's only going to be one more test. This last test is going to be over electric current and circuits. And then after that, the last unit on sound and waves, it's going to be a project. So you'll learn the sound and wave stuff, and you'll be doing things related to your instruments. The remote people, you won't quite be able to do everything. You'll be able to do some of it, and that's good enough. That'll just have to be good enough. And this video that I hope I can play, this is, it used to be labeled Chladni plate, or CHLADNA or DNI patterns. Now it seems like if I look over to the right, I'm seeing all these things labeled cymatics. So maybe that's the new term for this. But this is one thing you're going to be doing with your instrument once you get it made. You're going to take it out. I've got an amplifier, and I've got this cover on my amplifier to prevent salt from getting into it, because you're going to sprinkle salt all over the back of your instrument and set it over the amplifier and hook your amplifier up to a tone generator on your phone. Most people, and if you don't have a phone, I can send a laptop out. And then you're going to go through really low frequencies all the way up to super high frequencies. And it's going to look like this plate that I'm about to play for you, except probably not quite this cool. Well, definitely not quite this cool. I'll play the plate and then talk about what's happening and go from there. Hopefully it'll play nicely. I'll pause it right there and play it some more. This is the same phenomenon that I was trying to show you with the string in the classroom. Remember, I had the string hooked to a speaker, and the speaker was going up and down at different frequencies, and I could control how many hertz it was. And at certain frequencies, the string had standing waves. So it would have parts where, it would have a wide part where it's going up and down and up and down. But then it would have these little nodes in between where the string wasn't even moving. And you get, first, if I make it go real slow, we get the fundamental with just one hump going up and down. And then if I speed it up a little bit more, we get these two here with a node in the middle. And then if I speed it up even more, then we get the third harmonic. So this is the same thing, except in an extra dimension. All those standing waves were happening on the string. On your instrument and on this plate, it's going to have its own resonant frequency. So I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's some places like the bathroom, the urinal near the main office. If you go in there and you've got a fairly deep voice, so this already rules out a whole bunch of people. But anyway, those of you who have fairly deep voices and go into that urinal in the main office, if you hum lower and lower and lower, when you get to about 80 hertz, it gets really loud because that is the resonant frequency of that urinal. It's just like the string needs to be shaken at just the right speed for the standing waves to form. That urinal needs to be hummed in at just the right frequency for it to hum back at you. And your
How did
instruments,
you figure that out?
I was humming at the urinal. That's kind of a hobby of mine. Anytime I'm in an enclosed space, I'll think, I wonder what the resonant frequency is. And I kind of go, but mostly when nobody's in there, but I don't even care if they hear me humming oddly. That'll make them get out of the bathroom faster, and then I have it all to myself. But okay, so it's the same thing with the guitar. If you could hum loudly enough, like an amplifier, you could kind of get at certain frequencies, and then the strings would actually start to vibrate when you get to the note that's played on the string, and the body of the instrument has its own resonant frequencies where it starts to vibrate, and this plate has certain frequencies. So what you can see on the screen is this pattern where instead of like the string, we have simple antinodes like this and then nodes where it's not moving. It's complicated on this plate. My question for you is, where are the nodes on this plate? The nodes are the places where there's no displacement, there's no movement. The antinodes are places where there's a lot of movement. So raise your hand if you can tell me where the nodes are on the plate. They sprinkle the salt on here. They're not using salt, we'll use salt. And the plate's moving around and you get these waves. Where's the salt going to settle? The node or the antinode? Anyone? Riam, what do you think?
The antinode, because then there's no movement there, so the salt settles on it.
Your explanation's correct, but you just had it backwards. So the antinode is the part that's moving a lot. The node is the part that's not moving at all. So the salt is at the nodes. And anytime some salt spreads out into where the antinodes are, it gets bounced up and down and it just sort of gets pushed away and it goes to right here where the node is, and then it doesn't get pushed away anymore. So these nodes keep shifting, just like as I sped the string up, you get more and more antinodes and more nodes. You're going to see more nodes and antinodes here. I'll just let it play. It's a little laggy, but it's not so bad with this. Alright, when the ad comes on, that means all the good stuff's just about over. So to get back to why I was showing you that, you're going to be going out to a place where you can't bother people, maybe under the tents would be perfect, and just cranking that amplifier up and putting your instrument over the top of it and sprinkling salt on it, and you'll see a few different resonant frequencies. It won't look nearly as cool as that plate did. But Riam, you won't get to do that. Iris, you won't get to do that unless you want to set up something like that at your house. But that's okay. I don't know if I really explain what we're doing very well or not. Does anybody have any general questions that everybody might want to know the answers to right now? Just about what's going on, what I'm expecting of you. All right, so if anybody wants to stay and talk in small groups or individually, you can stay. The rest of you, I'll see you either tomorrow or next week. Sid, I hope you're still catching them. Caught any more, Sid? Oh well. Hi, Iris.
Hi, I just wanted to check in and see what I should be doing for the instrument right now.
I think you're okay. Did you tell me how long you want the scale length to be? Because I'll probably cut that for you.
Okay, I don't know that I did.
Okay. You can just email me.
Okay, is there a set of like instructions somewhere? I haven't been able to find.
I'll show you the instructions. Am I still sharing my screen? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little different than last year, but what you're doing, since you'll be at home, is
Sorry, my thing wasn't working.
what? Oh, I don't know what Sid's talking about. So if you go to my website or just write to, actually I'll do this from Google Classroom because so the YouTube playlist. No, that doesn't help. That's just physics stuff. So if you go to my class website and you go, no, that doesn't help either. Okay, so what you need to do is go to mrstapleton.com, go to my YouTube channel, and then I have some playlists. And one of them is for this class, one of them's for designing solutions, but one of them is the instrument construction.
Okay.
So Physics 200 string instrument construction. This playlist is really all, it explains everything. This is what I made last year for the people, everybody was fully remote then. So if you want to get an idea of what we're doing, this would give you an idea. And I'll probably give you a set of stuff that looks something like this. I'll pause it in just a second. Yeah. So these were not the finished thing, but these were all the parts that people got last year. In class, we're doing a little more assembly because I wanted them to get into it a little bit more, but you may not have the tools to put together this neck. So I might just go ahead and pre-assemble the neck like I did last year and then get you this. Iris, I've already cut your ox. It looks cool. Turned out well.
Thanks.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
that answer your question? Yeah, if you want to know what it's going to look like, you could watch, or you could just wait till you get your parts and it's all there.
Okay.
Riam, do you have any questions?
Yes, so since you said that we're only gonna have like our last test is like probably on this unit, and the other unit the last unit, we're only going to do a project.
Yes.
Am I able to do this project and finish it early?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
for
that'll.
June.
By what day? What day do you need to be done?
Like before June 11th.
Yeah, no problem. That'll work out well. The reason I'm not doing a test in the last unit is mostly because then people would want to retake it, and that takes a while. So the project you could get done early.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good deal. So I can be done early.
Yeah, great.
Oh, okay. Yes, thank you.
Have a good week. Bye.
You too. Bye.